In the vast expanse of space, where the boundaries of human knowledge and imagination are continually pushed, unexpected phenomena occasionally emerge, challenging our understanding of the universe. The sighting of a triangle-shaped unidentified object near the International Space Station is one such instance that fuels intrigue and prompts profound questions about the mysteries that lie beyond our earthly realm. On a seemingly ordinary day, as the International Space Station orbited Earth, people viewing the live camera on the space station reported an astonishing visual encounter, an unidentified triangular object gliding silently through space. The sighting was documented through video footage, capturing the distinct three-sided shape against the backdrop of the starlit cosmos. The incident spurred waves of speculation, as the presence of such a structured object defied conventional explanations and hinted at the possibility of extraterrestrial phenomena. Various theories have emerged to elucidate the sighting of the triangle-shaped object near the International Space Station. Skeptics often propose that the object might have been a satellite or space debris, casting doubt on the notion of an otherworldly origin. However, what distinguishes this particular sighting is the precise geometry of the object, a perfect equilateral triangle. This symmetry challenges the notion of random space debris, raising questions about the likelihood of natural processes leading to such a configuration. Moreover, the apparent movement and behavior of the object diverge from the typical patterns of known space objects. The triangle-shaped object resonates within the broader context of humanity's quest to uncover the existence of advanced life. Advancements in space exploration, such as the discovery of exoplanets within habitable zones and the study of extremophiles on Earth, have fueled hopes that life might exist beyond our planet. The sighting near the International Space Station adds to the mosaic of anomalies that beckon us to explore the possibility of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. Yet, this pursuit is not without its challenges. The vastness of space, the limitations of technology, and the constraints of human perception present formidable obstacles. While the triangle-shaped object near the International Space Station may capture our attention, it is only a singular instance among a myriad of potential phenomena that elude our understanding. In the case of the triangle-shaped object near the space station, a careful analysis of the available data is crucial. Rigorous scrutiny of the video footage, assessment of potential natural or human-made origins, and collaboration among experts in relevant fields are essential steps toward unraveling the mystery. If the object indeed defies conventional explanation, it might prompt further inquiries into the nature of space, the possibilities of advanced technology, and the intricate relationships between our planet and the cosmos. The enigmatic connection between unidentified objects and the International Space Station has captured the attention of researchers, space enthusiasts, and the general public alike. This intriguing phenomenon has given rise to countless speculations about the motives and interests of these mysterious visitors. One prevailing theory is that unidentified objects are attracted to the International Space Station due to its technological significance. The space station represents a pinnacle of human achievement in space exploration, a symbol of our scientific progress and capabilities. It's possible that these advanced visitors are drawn to our most advanced space station to study our technological prowess and gauge our level of advancement as a species. The International Space Station orbits Earth, providing a vantage point that offers a unique perspective on our planet. Unidentified objects could be observing human activities from this vantage point, gathering information about our activities, infrastructure, and environmental changes. If these visitors are indeed more technologically advanced, they might consider the space station an ideal location for covert surveillance and observation. The proximity of the International Space Station to Earth's orbit makes it an accessible point of contact for any advanced civilizations that may be monitoring our activities. It's conceivable that these visitors are attempting to establish a form of communication or contact with humans by interacting with the space station. The space station is inhabited by astronauts from different countries, conducting scientific research and experiments in microgravity. Advanced visitors could be genuinely curious about our presence in space, seeking to understand the motivations behind human space exploration and the potential impact on the universe. Some speculative theories propose that unidentified objects could be harvesting energy from the space station or utilizing its technology for their own purposes. If these beings possess advanced propulsion systems or require specific energy sources, the International Space Station could serve as a convenient resource. The space station orbits Earth in close proximity to a significant amount of space debris. Some researchers suggest that unidentified objects might be interested in observing the interactions between the space station and the debris, which could shed light on our approach to space management and debris mitigation. The presence of unidentified objects near the International Space Station might be part of a larger strategy to test human reactions to their presence. This could help them understand how we perceive and respond to the unknown, potentially influencing their future interactions with Earth. If these visitors operate within frameworks of time and space that differ from our own, their interest in the space station might stem from a desire to understand our concept of space travel and the evolution of our understanding of the cosmos. In speculative scenarios, unidentified objects could be representatives of advanced civilizations attempting to initiate cultural exchanges or diplomatic dialogues with humanity. The space station, being a hub of international collaboration, might be perceived as a potential point of contact.
AI system detects strange signals of unknown origin. As our technology continues to evolve, so has the search for alien life, as scientists based at the University of Toronto have begun to employ the help of AI in the quest to find alternate life. An international research team has been conducting a search for extraterrestrial life in a more streamlined manner than we have seen before. Up until now, we have seen lots of work by astronomers being conducted via SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. This work, which has been ongoing for upwards of a century with dedicated international research since the 1980s, has used an array of radio telescopes in order to detect what is known as a technosignature. This field of study involves the monitoring of electromagnetic radiation for signs, signals, and other similar indicators that there may be life out there on other planets. Despite this research being conducted from well-considered and ideally located facilities, there is a common issue presented in the human interaction. Often disturbances can be picked up from phones, television stations, and other challenging factors. And whilst these techniques are still employed, new techniques are being introduced too. In recent years, this research has taken a grand leap forward, as researchers based at the University of Toronto have begun to implement the use of artificial intelligence in this same vein of study to limit those same human-introduced issues. An algorithm has been designed to organize the data gathered from these telescopes, dividing the data into distinct categories, allowing for a differentiation between what is a real, genuine signal and what is interference. This process has been introduced to the AI through a method called machine learning. This is the system by which the computer system begins to develop its own intelligence. It's a complicated and arguably controversial process by which AI computer systems begin to learn how to effectively think and behave independently, in a way somewhat comparable to humans. In this context, machine learning will enable the researchers to pore through the relevant information with much greater ease, and with far quicker efficiency. This should make spotting patterns in such large data sets far simpler. Peter Ma, an undergraduate mathematics and physics student at the University of Toronto and first author of a research paper detailing this published in the Nature Astronomy academic journal, commented on the presence of interference in their observations. He explained that the difference is being able to distinguish between the radio signals from space to the uninteresting radio signals coming from down here on Earth. The team were able to effectively teach the AI to begin to sort and recognize these different signals by simulating the different varieties, showing the difference between signals that may be extraterrestrial and those that are deemed more likely to be human-generated. Prior to running these simulations, work had to go into selecting the machine learning algorithms, drawing comparisons between the precision, the statistical production of false positive rates, and then using these factors to select the aspects resulting in the most appropriate algorithm, which was eventually created by Ma. As it turns out, this new algorithm resulted in the discovery of 8 radio signals that have been deemed potential transmissions from extraterrestrial intelligence. Further analysis has seen they were sourced from 5 different stars, ranging between 30 and 90 light-years away. What is most exciting, though, is that this same data has been studied before, without the use of AI, and these signals were not discovered at all. While it is certainly a possibility that these signals could be sources sent from extraterrestrial life and they follow the anticipated format, this doesn't automatically mean that that is what is being observed. James Webb Telescope captures countless galaxies in new image. The images provided by the James Webb Telescope are truly phenomenal, providing glimpses and perspectives deemed unimaginable, with resolutions that are truly impressive. To us, these pictures are beautiful. For the experts, there is so much more contained within them. The lucky image selected as Image of the Month showcases a number of galaxies, with the spiral galaxy with the catchy name LEDA 2046648 being visible on the bottom left-hand side. This galaxy is more than 1 billion light-years away from us, and for those who are particularly well versed in looking out for these feats, you can see this galaxy within the Hercules constellation. We have only just been able to lay our eyes upon this photo ourselves. It has been in the works for months. Webb has been on duty taking observations and measurements, obtaining images of exoplanets and galaxies for a few months now. During the commissioning process for the Near-Infrared Imager and Slitless Spectrograph, known as NIRISS, one of many components of the Webb Space Telescope, we saw this photo come about. NIRISS was investigating a white dwarf star, while the near-infrared camera captured this stunning shot of LEDA 2046648 and its distant pals in the sky. One of the initial aims for the James Webb Space Telescope is to investigate what is going on within the distant universe. This image of LEDA 2046648 is not an example of deep field imagery, though this is one avenue that has provided a great deal of similar shots. Deep field imagery is one aspect of the Webb telescope that lets us see the oldest light sources, a process that works via gravitational lensing, looking at how distant lights can become magnified and warped. It's truly amazing to see such a gorgeous photo, and even more amazing to know that there is so much more in it that we are yet to see. 4 planets spin around star 130 light-years away. Recently, experts have put together a time-lapse capturing the observations taken over the span of 12 years and condensing them into just 5 seconds. This is the first time that a star extrasolar planetary system has ever been directly imaged. The short animation shows the movements of 4 planets orbiting their star 130 light-years away from Earth, and was compiled by a data sourced through the Keck Observatory, located in Hawaii. This is not an opportunity for new research advancements. It's hoped that the video will prompt inspiration and excitement, letting people wonder at the field as a whole. There is so much out there beyond our world. Being able to unravel some of the mysteries and discover some answers to the universe is truly exciting. Whether it's revolutionary findings or wonderful new perspectives, it will be fascinating to see what will be uncovered next. Scientists discover 5 billion light-years away galaxy. Most things in space are unimaginably far from Earth, as the cosmos is expanding infinitely every minute, after all. But seeing beyond a certain distance becomes challenging due to the limitations of our current technology for viewing space. Recently, scientists were able to uncover a galaxy lurking an astonishingly 5 billion light-years away by employing a newly developed high-tech radio telescope. The team who made this fascinating discovery was associated with Australia's Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation and used the Radio Emission Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, or ASCAP telescope, in the Murchison Radio Astronomy Observatory. This location is unique because of the so-called radio quietness, meaning there are less radio waves penetrating the space, making it easier to identify faraway cosmic objects that are sources of radio emissions. James Allison said that, at many observatories, this dip would have been hidden by background radio noise, but our site is so radio quiet it stood out clearly. The team was able to use the unique technologies of the telescope to detect the signature frequencies of the radio waves emanating from the galaxy as they passed through hydrogen gas. The changes in the emissions caused dips in the measured signal due to the slight absorption of radio waves by the surrounding hydrogen gas, and these dips are what allowed the researchers to measure the distance of their astonishing 5 billion year journey to Earth. This astonishing result was brought about by technology that has allowed scientists to see significantly farther into space than they have ever been able to before, which will provide crucial information about the nature of bodies occupying the infinite cosmos around us. Researchers hope that the technology provided by the ASCAP telescope will be able to be utilized to view galaxies up to twice as far as this newly discovered galaxy. Being able to look back 10 billion years is of a special interest to researchers because this was the time when the universe was undergoing peak star formation. The rate of this process, which is fueled by hydrogen gas, has mysteriously decreased in the past millennia, and researchers are anxious to discover why. The galaxy is several billion years younger than our own Milky Way, but still appears to have a magnetic field that is of a comparable configuration and strength to the field around our own galaxy. Brian Gaensler of the University of Toronto said that this means that the magnetism is generated very early in a galaxy's life by natural processes, and thus that almost every heavenly body is magnetic. The implication is that we need to understand magnetism to understand the universe. Observing galaxies at varying distances from Earth, such as this one, will allow astronomers to create a picture of how the universe came to be. Universe is a false vacuum. There are a few ways that physicists have toyed with when it comes to theorizing about the destruction of the universe, and they generally have ominous names: the Big Rip, the Heat Death, and the Big Crunch. One particularly interesting hypothetical destruction is vacuum decay. Before diving into understanding vacuum decay, we need to backtrack and talk about Higgs field. Higgs field is a field of energy that permeates our universe. Similar to an electric field, Higgs field varies in strength. The power of Higgs field in any particular area is dependent on its potential. Another part of this operation is Higgs boson. Higgs boson is the foundational particle connected with Higgs field. It was proposed by Peter Higgs, Francois Eglert, and 4 other theorists in 1964, and confirmed in 2012, resulting in a Nobel Prize for the scientists. The potential of Higgs field tells us whether the universe is in a state of true vacuum or false vacuum. A vacuum is a space entirely lacking in matter. It is also the stable lowest energy state. Currently, the universe is in a false vacuum state called metastable. It's not actively decaying, but it is also not completely stable. 2 glaring issues to consider when living in a metastable universe are that a high enough energy event can, in theory, take a small region of the universe from the false vacuum into the true vacuum. This would create a domino effect of a true vacuum that would expand in all directions at the speed of light. Such an event would be lethal. The second issue is that the tiny particle can create a passage through a boundary between one region and another. This could include tunneling through to the vacuum state. So, a universe in a metastable false vacuum has the potential to suddenly be partly in a true vacuum state, which would be detrimental. The possibility of vacuum decay has been weighing on the mind of researchers recently because the measurements of Higgs boson seem to indicate that the vacuum is now metastable. This might seem like a reason to feel alarmed and move into a state of existential dread. However, the life of a metastable universe is predicted to be substantially longer than the life of the current universe. Scientists have just detected a powerful space laser beaming from deep space. Scientists discovered an immensely powerful radio wave laser, so powerful it is referred to as a megamaser, from the new Meerkat telescope in South Africa. Not only is it a super strong beam, but it is also the most distant megamaser that they have been able to detect from Earth to date, with estimates putting it at about 5 billion light-years away from us. Scientists from the team who discovered this megamaser explain that these are usually formed when 2 galaxies collide violently. When this happens, the gases from within these galaxies become extremely dense, and can shoot out highly concentrated beams of light. This new megamaser has been officially named Nkalakathu, a Zulu word appropriately meaning big boss. The discovery has also triggered excitement around the Meerkat telescope's potential. Dr. Glowacki, from the team of scientists, remarks that it's impressive that, with just a single night of observations, we've already found a record-breaking megamaser. It shows just how good the telescope is. The record-breaking discovery and insight into the power of Meerkat has the scientific community extremely hopeful about what they might discover next from this survey, as they proceed by observing narrower parts of the night sky in extremely deep detail. The end goal will be to better understand the evolution of our universe and creation and formation of various galactic phenomena like megamasers themselves. Astronomers discover hidden trove of massive black holes. Sometimes we can look at something time and time again, still never noticing every detail. Whether it is a missed clue in your favorite film or a seemingly new brushstroke in a painting, this is something each one of us has experienced. Well, it appears that the scientific world is no exception. A research team, led by those at the University of North Carolina, has uncovered a whole host of massive black holes in dwarf galaxies, despite us looking in the areas previously. These massive black holes have been looked past over and over, but now that we know that they are there, they could have a huge potential to help us figure out the details behind the supermassive black hole in the center of the Milky Way. Our galaxy takes the form of a giant spiral, meaning, as our current understanding has us believe, it's made up of lots of small dwarf galaxies and they're merging together. One example of this is the Magellanic Clouds. These clouds are irregular galaxies that appear as an illuminated patch in the sky. They are seen in the south, and they are understood to be dwarf galaxies that will eventually become part of the Milky Way. When a new dwarf galaxy enters our galaxy, there is the potential that it brings along with it a massive black hole at its center. It's currently thought that an inevitable question of when, rather than if, this massive black hole will be absorbed by the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way. While we acknowledge that this is a possibility, in reality, we do not know how often dwarf galaxies contain massive black holes. This is a glaring gap in our current knowledge, as we know very little about how black holes and galaxies grow, develop, and interact with one another. This new research, published in the Astrophysical Journal, helps us to connect the dots as we uncover the black holes we simply had not seen before. Lead author of the study, Magda Polomera, said, "This result really blew my mind because these black holes were previously hiding in plain sight. It can be a fairly difficult process to detect black holes, evidenced by us repeatedly glossing over them. Usually, we can find them when they take in gas, as this results in them growing and makes them glow." Professor Sheila Kanapan, the co-author of the study, likened black holes to fireflies, in that we can only see them when they are lit up. So, if the black holes are not actively growing, then we do not know how many are truly there. Adding to this confusion is that the high-energy radiation characteristic of growing black holes is not exclusively a feature of them alone. New stars can be seen to have the same high-energy radiation. The research team realized that they could test where these signals were coming from, with a different number of tests, allowing us to conclude if it is a young star being formed or a black hole growing that is being observed. So far, this research seems very promising, with a new acknowledgement that there is sometimes more to the picture than what we can see. The theories we currently hold are growing and expanding in size, allowing us to deepen our understanding, and more research will eventually be conducted, hopefully providing further evidence towards what we think we already know. Earth could have its own Saturn-like ring band due to space junk. It seems that every day we discover more and more side effects of the growing industrialization and pollution on Earth, and current evidence suggests that the debris that has accumulated on Earth is also impacting outer space as well. NASA recently released some ominous statistics claiming that there are over 100 million pieces of debris larger than a millimeter currently orbiting the Earth, with thousands of these pieces the size of a baseball or larger. Scientists estimate that, based on the gravitational pull of Earth exerted on these pieces of space debris, eventually our planet could have a massive set of rings not unlike the famous rings of Saturn, only our rings will be composed of our own detritus. These growing rings cause more than a few problems for those seeking to explore the solar system, as well as those of us stuck here on land. For starters, the trash is flying around the planet at incredibly high speeds, and there is so much of it that it is becoming increasingly difficult for satellites and spacecraft to navigate around. Because of the high speeds of the debris, an atmospheric collision with a spacecraft could be devastating, while a fast-moving piece of space detritus that manages to make it through the atmosphere could wreak havoc on the planet and those of us down below. Often, items headed towards Earth's surface burn up as they pass through the atmosphere, but this is not always the case, and the more trash that accumulates around our planet, the greater the chances that pieces could survive the fall to Earth and greatly injure those of us below. But how are we to go about cleaning up the mess above our heads before it conglomerates into an enormous ring that causes even more issues? This is a delicate issue, as the debris is spinning and orbiting at such fast speeds that many normal methods, such as grabbing the larger pieces with a robotic arm, are not feasible, as the debris would just destroy the equipment. One solution, proposed by Jake Abbott, a mechanical engineering professor at the University of Utah, was published in the science journal Nature and suggests using magnets to attract the debris instead of attempting to grab it. He proposes that this theory will work even on debris that does not have a metal component, because of the electric eddy currents generated by spinning, non-magnetic objects and activated with spinning magnets. Eddy currents are swirling, magnetically induced currents that circulate as loops of electrical current within a conductor. Although it is not currently clear whether Abbott's proposition will be effective as a way to begin the space clear-up, or where all of the collected detritus will end up, it is ultimately the first step in solving a looming problem that is only set to get worse if not addressed. NASA orbiter spots Chinese rover and tracks on Mars. Sometimes we get a chance to look at our creations from afar and look at what a great invention we have made. One opportunity for this arose recently, as on March 11, 2022, one of NASA's spacecrafts caught a glimpse of China's Zhurong rover on Mars. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is fitted with HiRISE, the high-resolution Imagine Science experiment camera, which captured the image of the Zhurong rover. The image even managed to show around 1.5 kilometers of tracks that the rover had made since landing in May 2021, showing the southward direction of its journey. Zhurong is one aspect of China's Tianwen-1 mission, looking to explore Mars. This includes an orbiter too, and seeks to survey the surface features of the red planet. Initially, the rover was meant to stay for just 90 days, though this time has been exceeded as it continues to explore the geology present on Mars. The image is incredibly clear, given the 288 kilometers away MRO is from Zhurong, which is just 3 meters in size. TRAPPIST-1 planets could hold more water than Earth's oceans. The star called TRAPPIST-1 is a close star, approximately 40 light-years away from our own solar system, and is one that is highly interesting to scientists due to the 7 planets similar to Earth that revolve around it. After careful study of the gravitational pull that these planets exert upon each other, researchers were able to present several theories about the composition of these planets, and some of them are downright mind-boggling. Some of the planets revolving TRAPPIST-1 could have up to 250 times the total amount of water contained in all of Earth's oceans. These calculations were made as a part of the constant search for signs of extraterrestrial life, or even indications that exoplanets could potentially support life, and TRAPPIST-1 is one of the best-known and most highly studied candidates outside of our own solar system. Elements of each planet in the system has been carefully studied, as the distance and their tight orbit makes direct observation incredibly difficult. Additionally, because they all orbit exceptionally close to each other, they frequently push and pull against the gravitational forces exerted as they pass neighboring planets in the system. Simon Grimm, leader of an international team of scientists with the Center for Space and Habitability, was one of the individuals who studied this phenomenon. He said in a statement, "In the TRAPPIST-1 system, the planets are so close together that they perturb each other. This causes a slight shift in the times of each transit." The team was then able to conduct simulations of these altered orbits and apply an algorithm in order to estimate the masses of each planet, which then allowed them to calculate individual densities and compositions. This is when they realized that the 5 lightest planets in the system could each have 250 times more water than the total amount in all of Earth's oceans. This means that water makes up about 5% of their total composition compared to the measly 0.02% of Earth. This information is groundbreaking to scientists hoping to study the potential for life outside of our own Earth, especially as 3 of the planets lie within TRAPPIST-1's so-called habitable zone. Bryce Olivier Demery, a professor at the Center for Space and Habitability and co-author of the recent study detailing these results, said, "We were able to measure precisely the density of exoplanets that are similar to Earth in terms of their size, mass, and irradiation, with an uncertainty of less than 10%, which is a first and decisive step in the characterization of potential habitability."
NASA has just announced that a huge asteroid will come within just 100,000 miles of Earth, which is twice as close as the Moon. The object is estimated to be over 300 feet in length. The United States Space Agency's Asteroid Watch team said the following: "Astronomers with the International Asteroid Warning Network are using this approach to learn as much as possible about this asteroid in a short time period. It's good practice for planetary defense in the future if a potential asteroid threat were ever discovered." End quote. NASA has a program in place called the Near-Earth Object Observations Program, which is designed to detect, track, and characterize asteroids and comets that come within a certain distance of Earth. The program includes a network of ground-based telescopes and also employs spacecraft to observe and study near-Earth objects. One of the key goals of the Near-Earth Object Observations Program is to identify any objects that may pose a threat of impact to Earth. If an object is detected that has the potential to collide with Earth, NASA will first work to refine the object's orbit to better understand its trajectory and predict where it might impact. NASA will then evaluate potential mitigation strategies, such as deflecting the object off its trajectory or disrupting it using a kinetic impactor. NASA also collaborates with other national and international organizations to detect and track near-Earth objects. For example, the agency works with the European Space Agency to operate the Space Situational Awareness Program, which includes the segment dedicated to monitoring these objects. Overall, NASA's efforts to detect and study near-Earth objects help to protect Earth by providing an advanced warning of potential impacts and informing strategies for mitigating the risk of collision. However, every year, NASA misses various asteroids of all sizes, with one of the most recent ones being in November 2021, when a large asteroid barely missed Earth, with the Planetary Defense Team saying that no one knew it was coming. Although a 300-foot asteroid doesn't sound like much, its impact could be devastating. The effects of a 300-foot asteroid impacting Earth would depend on several factors, such as the composition and speed of the asteroid, as well as the location of impact. However, generally speaking, such an impact could cause significant damage and potentially loss of life. If the asteroid were composed of a relatively dense material like iron, it could have a high kinetic energy upon impact, resulting in an explosion-like effect. This could cause a large crater to form and eject material into the atmosphere, potentially causing wildfires and other forms of damage. If the impact occurred over an ocean, it could cause a tsunami, which could devastate coastal areas. In addition to the immediate effects, an impact of this size could also have longer-term consequences. The material ejected into the atmosphere could block sunlight and cause a cooling effect, potentially leading to crop failures and other disruptions to ecosystems. Furthermore, the impact could release large amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere, which could remain there for years and affect global climate patterns. Astronomers describe a rare Black Widow star system. A new study describes a unique astronomical object called the Black Widow pulsar. The star system, named J06102100, is about 10,000 light-years from Earth.
It was discovered in 2003 after scientists noticed periodic pulsing in the area. Scientists decided the system was a pulsar. A pulsar is a collapsed, highly magnetized star that rotates very quickly. They shoot out electromagnetic blasts out of their poles. So, if their pole is facing the Earth, we can see the light in space, but it quickly goes away as the star spins. For example, J06102100 flickers every 3.8 milliseconds as it turns around. The object was named after the black widow spider that famously eats other spiders of a smaller size. The Black Widow pulsar is made up of two stars, one larger and one smaller. The larger of the two is slowly devouring the smaller star by pulling most of the surrounding matter into space. In addition to removing any matter from its vicinity, the larger star hits the smaller star with consistent energy discharges. On J06102100, these pulses have been happening over the last 100 or even thousands of years. These hits of energy push much of the remaining star matter into space. Since the star could devour its smaller counterpart at some point, scientists want to study this system before it goes away. Emma van der Wateren, a doctorate student at the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy, studied the Black Widow pulsar for years and analysed 16 years of data from a radio telescope to discover more about the pulsar. She and her team found some unique and interesting things about this specific star system. First, this system has never shown any changes in timing. It was consistent and steady throughout the past 16 years. Typically, Black Widow pulsars are irregular and temperamental, which is why this finding is so important to astronomers. Second, the star system does not have a radio eclipse, which is found in most other Black Widow pulsars. A radio eclipse happens when radio emissions stop during a specific part of the star's orbit path around each other. Van der Wateren explains, this occurs when the companion star moves close to the front of the pulsar, and all this irradiated material coming off of the companion eclipses the pulse emission from the pulsar. While the radio eclipse is still stumping scientists, the steady timing has a clear and helpful purpose. Van der Wateren says, to detect gravitational waves, you need many, many very stable pulsars, and unlike earlier Black Widow pulsars that have been discovered, this system is very stable. Scientists believe that if they analyze the consistent energy pulses of the larger star, they might be able to detect gravitational waves, which are uncommon ripples in the fabric of space-time. Gravitational waves, theorized by Albert Einstein, appear when massive universal objects collide. The waves from the collision move through space and time at light speed and warp the fabric of the universe as they ripple past. Pluto has giant ice volcanoes that could hint at the possibility of life. As it turns out, secrets have been hiding on the dwarf planet Pluto's surface all this time. According to astronomers, giant ice volcanoes have recently erupted with icy sludge. This area on Pluto is completely unique compared to what astronomers have seen in our solar system. This new discovery was made possible with NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, which captured photos of Pluto's moons and surface in 2015. These images were used to observe Pluto more closely than before and led to the discovery of two prominent peaks that were thought to be icy volcanoes. This speculation was further proved by clues of erupted ice lava found in the images. While we tend to associate volcano eruptions with hot lava, ice volcanoes or cryovolcanoes erupt with water ice mixed with other substances such as methane or ammonia. For years, astronomers have been searching for evidence of these cryovolcanoes on other solar objects like the dwarf planet Ceres and Saturn's moon Titan. As Pluto has been long suspected of having cryovolcanoes due to it resting on the frigid edge of the solar system's Kuiper belt, these photos provide more evidence for their existence on the dwarf planet. The eruptions of slush are also expected to keep their shape due to the average temperature of Pluto sitting at minus 387 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the author of the study, Kelsey Singer, the icy material was probably more like the texture of toothpaste when it first erupted out of the ice volcanoes, but due to the extreme temperatures on Pluto, the liquid water quickly formed massive domes found on the region. Due to the lack of impact craters in the area around the cryovolcanoes that are usually seen on Pluto's surface, it is suggested that the ice volcanoes were active about 100 to 200 million years ago, a relatively short time in the grand scheme of things. This recent activity indicates to astronomers that the volcanoes may erupt again just as volcanoes on Earth switched from dormancy to activity. Astronomers know that Pluto once had a subsurface ocean, and the discovery of these ice volcanoes points to the possibility that they may still be present. This possibility of a liquid ocean existing on Pluto increases the once 0% possibility of existing life on Pluto to a slim chance. As Singer points out, there are still a lot of challenges for any organisms trying to survive there. They would still need some source of continual nutrients, and if the volcanism is episodic and thus the heat and water availability is variable, that is sometimes tough for organisms as well. Despite the challenges, this slim chance has been a giant leap in the knowledge of what we previously believed about Pluto.
So, what do you make of these mysterious space discoveries? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.